So if Jackie calls me and says I have an air freight shipment and I want to use CIP, I'm okay with that. The same way as if Sandy calls me and says I have an ocean shipment that wants to go DDP or DAP, I'm okay with that. When Michelle calls me and says I have an X-Work shipment that wants to go ocean, we're going to talk. Okay? But she can do that. I'll try and talk her out of it, but she can do that. All right? These 4 terms can only be used for ocean. That's free alongside ship, free on board, cost and freight, cost, insurance, and freight. Okay? So if you're trying to ship air freight, CFR, I'm going to have to talk you into a different term. Okay? So just a few rules in place there. Okay. Questions about anything we've gone over? We'll take a break here in a little bit. I've thrown a lot out there today, but these are really, this is just the foundation of what we're going to talk about now in the individual terms. And what I'm planning on doing now, next, is we're going to go through each term. We'll talk about the pros and cons for the buyer, the seller, the risks on both ends, and we'll take a little bit of time with that. Okay? So when we get back, we'll open up to page, we're going to start on 270. Yeah, we'll start on page 270. All right? So let's go ahead and take a 15-minute break. We'll be back at 10, and we'll get going. Okay. There were a couple other things that I forgot to mention before we went out to break. I wanted to talk about denied party, denied countries' responsibilities for an exporter. Is everybody aware that when you export out of the country, that there's certain requirements that we need to meet with the U.S. government? And the U.S. government has a list of denied countries, example, Cuba, Iran, pardon me? Haiti. And there's others. They also have denied parties of specific companies and individuals that the government has been watching that they won't let you ship out to. So we need to be aware of that. Every exporter needs to fill out an AES, okay? In automated export, in the automated export system. It's actually the EEI, which is an electronic export information. Okay? Basically what all that is, the government makes you fill out some information about who you are, about who you're shipping to, what your product is, and they'll let you know if it's okay to do it or if it's not. The AES will give you an ITN number, an internal transaction number. This is very important. If you export a product, no matter what INCOterm you choose, you need to be given the ITN number. If you are responsible for shipping and you're releasing the bill of lading and you don't have an ITN number on that bill of lading, you're putting your company at risk. Okay? So whether you're doing it, whether you're filling out the AES, whether somebody in your department's filling it out, somebody in your company is filling it out, or I say this grinding my teeth, you let some other company fill it out for you. If you're responsible for shipping, you need to make sure that you do not release your bill of lading until you have an ITN number on it. That's the simplest way of making sure that an AES was filed. Okay, so there's a little hint for you. Put that in your best practices. Okay, so that way, Denise, if you're responsible for filling out the bill of ladings and you're not there, Sandy knows exactly what to do. Okay, that'll help you stay out of trouble. If you're an importer and you're the importer of record, you're probably giving a POA or a power of attorney to your freight forwarder, your customs broker, okay? I always recommend that in your international procedures, your best practices, wherever you have all your information, that you keep a list of all the people that have your POA. Let me ask you, would you sign a power of attorney for yourself personally and not know who you gave it to? So you wouldn't want to do that with your company either. Okay? If you break a relationship and you no longer do business with a freight forwarder or a customs broker, make sure you take back your POA. And the way you do that is by writing them a letter, dating it, and saying that International Fiber no longer gives XX broker a power of attorney as of this date. Now it's done. Another thing that I like to say is that power of attorneys should have a timeline. So I'm giving XX broker power of attorney for Wendt Corporation from August 20th, 2013 to August 19, 2014. That way, if Michelle gives out the power of attorney to XX broker, but Michelle leaves the next month and she didn't write it down anywhere, it doesn't just linger out there forever. Okay? The last thing I wanted to talk about was the ISF for imports, and you're responsible, and ISF is an importer security filing, and you're responsible only to fill that out for ocean shipments.